Hello, everyone. This is Mike, your host for Friends in High Places podcast. Today, I got two special guests. One is Jason, and the other one is Tyreek.
Yeah, you got that right.
I finally did. Hard name to learn. So, here's the first guest. His name is Jason. Let him introduce yourself. So, go right ahead, Jason.
Hi, I'm Jason. Should I say my family name? I think it's better I don't say my family name because security purposes, But anyways, I've been here at the CPC2 for like a month and a half now, almost 2 months. It's not my first time being at the Douglas though, so I'm kind of a return patient here. Diagnosis in terms of what I have, I'm pretty certain they don't really want to tell me, and they don't actually tell me what it is because they don't know what I have. But from my assessment alone, I'm pretty sure it's something related to PTSD trauma because of all the stuff that I've been through, essentially. I kind of like to say that I'm a street medic without really bragging too much about it because, well, I like to help people. I'm a good Samaritan in a way. On the streets, be it at home, be it outside, be it anywhere, I just like to be a good Samaritan, essentially.
And what about you, Tyreek?
Well, I've been.
You're fine, bro.
It's okay.
Anyways, me, Mike, I'm 34. I have been diagnosed schizophrenia and still argue that it's a professional's misdiagnosis because one of the most amazing things happen when, in their terms, is a hallucination when I'm completely sober and just see magical things that are up and above our comprehension. And the mental health state of my mind has been more and more grounding than ever. Everything has been a sort of trigger towards other aspects of my life and to focus my energy on a forward thinking motion rather than going back in the past and rehashing. Other than that, I've been here at the mental hospital for 4 months now, and that is due to the criminal court detaining me for things that were kind of stupid, missed court date and missing doctor's appointment. So that's pretty much me, Mike. So Jason, you have some pretty cool stories for us?
Well, there was this one time where I kind of say this to some of my colleagues and some of my friends before in the past where I was actually approached by these dudes with rings with emeralds on them. And apparently they presented themselves in business suits and all that stuff as the masonry guys.
The Freemasons, yeah?
The Freemasons, yeah, exactly. Those guys with the book and all that stuff, where they predicted like 12 years or years ahead of us. Yeah, I got approached by some of those guys when I was a teenager, when I was going through shelters and shelters and shelters. Apparently, I had potential, according to them. Problem is that I never really wanted to. Sorry, hold on. Okay. So yeah, apparently I had potential to be interested in their group. I was actually supposed to join a ritual thingamabobber, something along the lines of a initiation rite in Ontario. Thing is that it involved me traveling to another province, so I refused. And it took me some time to essentially navigate my way through the streets to basically evade them. I guess I've evaded them so far, but at this point in time, I don't think I have evaded them.
Do you think they're chasing you, or are they?
No, they're just gonna keep a close eye on things and.
Continue, yeah.
Yeah. So aside from that, it's like I don't really. I don't really think it's not really an issue anymore for me to actually be hiding anymore because I think we all realize we kind of want the same thing.
So you think they might be Illuminati agents?
Illuminati agents in a way that could be trying to do something that is more different than what they usually go as a prerogative. I mean, have you ever heard of Blackwater?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Blackwater, those mercenary dudes. I actually was supposed to become one of them at some point in time right before Ukraine happened. Problem is that I didn't really want to go abroad to fight a war that I did not understand, because the war that I do understand is at home, you know? And I figured that it kind of is odd that they're willing to ship out so many different people to go fight a war abroad when the real war is right here where we're standing, where we're sitting right now. You
And
know?
do you think that's still the case?
Not necessarily, no. Primarily because of the idea that, well, the wars that are going on right now in our current timeline have actually reached a breaking point, a boiling point, I should say, because, well, it's gotten to a point where it's actually getting serious. All sides have to throw their cards on the table. I mean, for example, have you seen how Trump likes to have Greenland?
Yeah, why is that? Do you think it's because of the water?
No, it's not because of the water, because it's a strategic advantage to actually own Greenland. I mean, we see it in movies, we see it in stories, we see it in games as well. I mean, for example, at my shelter at Obelshikar, where I used to live at when I was a teenager, we played a board game called Risk. I'm pretty sure you know Risk.
Yeah.
I played as the blue team, and
I like blue.
yeah, I played as the blue team. Another guy in the group played red. Another one was black. Another one was yellow. Another one was green. Thing is that me and red, we kind of made a deal to essentially ally and unify. I took over most of the Americas, and Greenland was the main stopping point where the Europeans in this game were trying to breach through into actual America. Problem is that when supper came by, red team kind of just called everyone out to go away to eat supper, blah blah. We come back, not at the same time. It was just me and the red dude who went forced into the basement area to actually play the board game. But he didn't even need to lockpick the door to just open the door because it was locked, you know. Funny thing is that he wanted to add more units into the map on his side in a specific location, which is funnily enough, ideally close to the Middle East. And funnily enough, I told him not to do that because that could have some pretty bad consequences if they spot us. Let's just say he shrugged it off and said no, they'll never spot it, and they never did spot it.
Do you think it was a simulation of what's going on now? Because if you
Possibly.
think of it, because the Americas is getting dried out, especially Central America,
Yeah,
and then the water issues throughout
yeah.
Spain, London, Sydney, Australia, they're all on rock bed, and the water issues is getting very dilated.
Yeah, no, exactly. That's the thing. In order to curb this whole problem with nature, it's all about rediverting the waterways. Like, if you think about it real quick, imagine hydro dams that not only just produce electricity but redirect the water flow of the
Or
rivers.
what if they can redirect it to infinite purposes? So one side feeds the other, and the other side feeds
Exactly,
back.
an infinite
So
cycle of water. And I mean, for example, us Canadians,
we give it away for free, basically.
we give it away for free, for one, and for two,
Cheap dates.
we have the actual access of fresh water throughout the entire world on like a 3 out of 4 basis for the rest of the world. I mean, Russia's
Yeah.
another one, but
so
they're
is
more
China,
oil.
yeah.
In China too.
But it's pretty incredible how China has poured more concrete in the last 20 years than all the Americas combined since it existed.
I mean, you gotta hand it to them. They kind of gave themselves away by simply saying, "Let us do your hard labor," and they pretty much took over the world. It's kind of a hard surprise for me.
It's especially the megalithic structures they're creating and pouring
Oh,
cement, the
definitely.
aqueducts for the water, and giving a chance for all little villages to have access to mainstream everything.
Yeah, the thing about that, it's worrisome because I've seen what they were willing to do to make progress happen. I mean, for example, the sad part about it is that they're stomping out religion, which is something that I don't find to be quite kosher. And I don't find that to be fair because I've seen some footage of people trapped in churches and they're basically being bulldozed as they're screaming. and there's a reason why they all try to hide in the caves now to just pray.
Do you think that your mental health has affected yourself in your way of thought, or being here has let you have more time to think about who you are?
It gives me more time to think about who I am as an individual. It didn't really affect me more so than other people have, because I guess you could say I'm a kind of a survivalist when it comes to mental health, and in terms of street stuff, and in terms of everything. Because I kind of like to think of things simplistically, like a type of stat system, like a video game in a way. I don't like to say it like that literally, but more so than not, I function in a way where there's a give and take to everything. And if I give something to someone, I'm expecting something back in terms of like just anything, like respect, niceties, just anything. It could be anything. It doesn't even have to involve money.
The weight has to be balanced somehow in some way, shape, or form.
Precisely. Like good karma versus bad karma. I always try to give out good karma to other people so long as there's no bad karma coming into my way. That's how I function in a way.
And do you think that's affected your family, your friends, or
it has
a
lot.
How was your upbringing as a child? Was it
difficult?
It was difficult. And what about people at school? Did they tease you? Did they make fun of you?
I was the punching bag because there was no one else willing to be the punching bag.
So you just took it all in, and you think now it affected who you are, or it shaped it and molded
Helped me
you?
shape.
Yeah.
Helped me shape who I am, because in terms of the bullying at school, it was either me or the other kids, right? And I was an emo kid back in the day. I'm pretty sure you know what scene kids are with their long hair and their flashy hair and all that stuff. Yeah, I used to be that kind of kid where, not overtly flashy, more traditionally, like Asian style, I guess you could say that. But thing is that I had the choice. Either I bully anyone else, or I let them bully me. I let them bully me so that nobody else gets the shade, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, for example, there was this one event in school, there was a fire drill, and people were just being escorted out as fire drill and all that stuff, right? But I noticed through the crowd that one poor kid got dragged away by like 9 other kids. I started to listen in on what was going on, like sonar locating and all that shit. I started to notice that the poor kid was being beaten up. So I stepped in, obviously. This was like, I still remember the school, but I'm not going to say the name because it's for security purposes, But I stepped in, tried to fight all of them, dragged the kid away, and then we just went on as if nothing happened. And there was other times where it's like, I get guerrilla ambushed by the bullies in the alleyways. It's almost like...
Is that your post-traumatic stress disorder?
Basically, yeah.
And reliving those moments has made you feel... So do you think, like the other day, you lashed out at somebody for X, Y, Z reason, and that's out of character for you because you're more of the cuddly, nice type of dude who is always given, but yesterday you reacted like a crazy person, yelling at somebody that's belligerent.
Well, that was... The person who was being belligerent in a way was basically did not enjoy the question that was posed to him, which I understand. It's just that for him to come by and just continuously antagonize us was the problem. So I had to make do with what I had to essentially make sure that he does not proceed and continue with that. The best tactic for me was to essentially escalate it to a point and then de-escalate it to another point. It's like, matching the energy in a way.
Yeah, so you mimic people's energy, and that's kind of a funny segue because what I notice is some people stay so together for a while, they start mimicking personality traits as others. Let's say a boy goes out with a girl and the guy does like something with the way he walks. Eventually the girl's gonna walk the same way in a different kind of setting. So do you think being enclosed with all these people, you're gonna mimic their personality, or do you think your time here has been well spent?
I think it was well spent, and I don't think I would be mimicking anyone else because I finally found out that who I am as an individual is not actually a bad person.
No, of course not.
Because
since the get-go, you've been super outgoing, super lovey-dovey type, and always genuine and always saying hi in the morning. When I'm in the complete opposite case where I get annoyed by every person.
Yeah, because like even before when I was in the shelters, right, I was funnily enough, the only guy most of the time in the shelters, and it's not to brag, but like I kind of viewed every single individual that I've met there as like the Yakuza girls or something like that, you know, or the harem girls as they like to call themselves, because I was mostly just the person to help out in whichever case. Like if they needed someone, I'm there. If I needed something from anyone, I was just asking if they're willing. Nothing sexual, obviously, you know. It was all like platonic and it's all respectful way. It's just that it was mutual. It was really nice.
So it was a give and take relationship.
Precisely, without any, you know.
Backstabbing or
Precisely.
dirty playing or just taking and
Precisely.
being a glouton.
Exactly. We did have some times in some of the shelters where there were people who were odd, I guess you could say that.
How long did you stay at the shelter for?
3, 4, 5 years almost.
And do you think that's a PTSD that you're living right now, or
Yes.
the way that you react out of context is not normal, but in this case, let's say it is normal, do you think it's something that happens frequently?
No, it doesn't happen frequently. I mean, the only reason why I would actually lash out or react in a bad way is if someone is not respecting me properly. Like, for example, my family. They don't like to acknowledge me on an equal footing all the time because I'm their son, obviously, you know? Problem is that I had my own fair share of experiences too. And despite them having a harsher experience abroad, I don't think they've ever faced someone actually coming to kill them. I've had those experiences.
Do you think those are paranoid episodes, or do you think...
Possibly paranoid episodes from their part, but personally I have faced like knives and shit like that, so...
How does your family feel about your mental health? Do they know you're here at the hospital, or...?
Oh, they do. It's just that they like to shift the blame all day long, every single time, so...
But it's you that's to blame, like in a way, because
basically,
it's your own person, and at a certain point, if a medical professional says to stay here, do you believe that he's in the right keeping you here for this long, or do you still have some crust to eat, so to speak? And
it kind of depends, because like I'm here voluntarily after all, and I'm only here just to see if the medication actually functions well with me, because I've had some very bad side effects.
What medication are you on?
I forget which it's called, but it's Sustena.
Oh, Vega Sustena. It's an injection,
like
yeah.
Yeah.
You get once a month, and
yeah.
your body goes stiff for the first couple of days.
Yeah, exactly. The thing is that I was also on other meds before for the same injections, mood stabilizers, but like I explained to the doctors, it's like my level of care for myself is like at like level 4 out of 5, right? But then there's the level of care I have for others, which is 8 out of 10. So let's say if I take the mood stabilizer, right? The mood stabilizer, what it will do is that it will negate 2 from both of those camps. So imagine after like 2 months of that, -4, I have 0 care for myself at this point, and -4 for 8. I still have 4 cares for other people. Problem is that at that point where I have 0 care for myself, what is the point of living anymore if I'm not going to get anything in return for my own happiness?
Are you happy in your life right now?
Kind of, yes.
What do you mean, kinda?
I'm still kind of wanting a love life as usual, but I'm still wondering if the one person that I actually kind of spoke to in the past is still willing to actually hear me out again.
What about yourself? Do you love yourself? Because that comes first. If you accept yourself for who you are and who you're becoming, then you'll be able to love elsewhere. But if you think that you're not taking care of yourself, or those 5 echelons that you say, what if they have to be balanced out before anything can flourish from it?
You're absolutely right about that. It's actually kind of complicated because I never really was given the room to grow, thanks to my mom and thanks to my dad. Because, well, thanks to the family actually, because I never really had an outlet to express or to grow, because they were too babying me, I guess you could say that. And even though I had my fair share of experiences outside, away from them, and in the systems and all those boxes and all that stuff, right? They don't believe the stories. They don't really want to believe it either. they want to still think of me as their goody two shoes son when I'm not really goody two shoes anymore sometimes. But when it comes down to it, it's like, what is the point if you're not gonna at least meet me at my level, you know?
Yeah, at least halfway.
Halfway, exactly.
Yeah. Do you think that they're actually digressing your growth?
Sometimes. Sometimes when it comes down to trust. Because they went on a trip, for example, on a business trip for legal issues, right? And I had to take care of the house, just simply put, you know? And I've been living in multiple apartments in the past, and I had my own multiple jobs in the past. Yes, I got fired from some of them because I was late a couple times, but that's besides the point, you know. At the job, on the site, on the workplace, I am good, you know. But when it comes down to actual like self-care, I do take care of myself. It's just that when I need support, like social support from my own family, I don't receive it. And that basically kills me inside, you know?
Yeah.
And it's really tough. That's why I try to stay in contact with friends. But some of my friends now are either gone or off the radar. And my most best friend that is still here, he doesn't really want to come see me, which is tough for me, you know, because he's a high school buddy. But then there's other times where I meet people online. I used to have like what, 531 friends online on like PlayStation and on Steam, but all of them either off the radar, moved on, or they died of cancer or something like that. You know?
So do you think that community online has helped you through mental health?
It has
Do
actually.
you think you've suffered enough, or do you think that they're actually there for you, or they're just...
They're there for their own reasons. It's fair. It's just that I still think back to this one dude named Sharky that I actually helped out because he kept on taking pictures with his guns and stuff like that, which is I thought was a flex. But when it came down to the one night when we were playing a video game, he wanted to shoot himself. And he was telling to us about how he's gonna do it, taking selfies with his missing fingers, and he was pointing the gun at his face and shit like that. Imagine having no training for suicide hotline, but having to do it on the spot for a friend. I had to do that.
Whoa, I imagine that was kind of scary for you.
Not really, because I've done it before.
And how have you been put in spots like that before of suicide? What's your thought on suicide?
Basically, suicide is more like asking a question. Would you rather die by jumping off a cliff, or would you rather die by self-immolation? I've had to face both choices. And to be entirely honest with you, it's basically that's the decision you have to make. You either jump out the window, out of a burning area, to maybe save yourself and hope that you land properly, or hope to God someone comes and rescues you. That's basically the decision you have to make.
And do you, if you do follow through with the suicide, do you believe in God? Do you believe in the afterlife? Or?
I do believe in the afterlife because I've, guess you could say, sleepwalked a lot. Not literally sleepwalked, but like...
Been places at night when you dream?
Yeah. Been to areas where...
Consciously objective?
Yeah, it's like every time I think about where I've been, I keep thinking to myself, I have not done enough to save them all. That's my main...
That's the weight that you bear, but why you put that weight on yourself when it's not really your choice to be put in that spot?
I guess you're right. It's just something that I've had to shed in a way, because when I've ventured into witch covens and tarot card readings and all those other types of circles, right?
Mystical circles, yeah.
Yeah, basically everyone's trying to commune with the dead, so to speak, right? I've kind of achieved how to properly do that in some form of way via astral projection. It's just that problem is that nowadays it's like it's tough to do it now because of the medication.
Yeah.
Medication, however,
Doesn't help, but if you're...
it helps out in more ways than one.
So you think it helps you out, the Vega Sustaining? Because
It
I'm on it
does.
too, and I've seen a difference.
I've seen a difference too, yeah.
Me, I feel more relaxed and stable mood, but my visions still are there.
Yeah.
My gift to communicating with the other side still there,
Yeah, I've lost that.
seeing things move out of place and things like that still happen.
Me, it's the predictability.
Yeah.
Me, it's like being able to
Seeing
predict
the
shit.
future and seeing
Precisely.
ahead of your time and seeing everything else happening right before your eyes.
Precisely.
It's like,
And me, it's more along the lines of predicting things to occur. The probability of this, this, and this happening.
it's not if, it's the when.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
predictable. But everybody has their own subject and thought on that.
Think about it like this. You know the D6, like the six-sided die?
Yeah.
Why do you think it's always 1 to 6 and not 0 to 6?
Because there's 6 sides to a cube.
Yes, geometry-wise. However, for true probability, it has to be 0 to 6, right?
Well, not if 1 is a value and 0 is no value.
Yes, but we humans like to put things based on law and physics and all that stuff, right? So, like, say for example,
You can't have a 0-sided cube,
yes,
but you can have interdimensions of the cube that lapse through it.
precisely. So, let's say for example, when you cast a die onto a table, there's always going to be the possibility of at least a chance of having 1. Like I did with the community of people online at some point in time, the notion of having a dice or having multiple-sided dices is the teaching is like this. No matter what you may think, there's always a probability of at least one thing to occur, or at least one small thing to occur past 0. 1 is still better than 0 after all.
And 2 is better than 1.
Exactly, but that's why I ask these questions. Like for example, it's like probability of this bottle falling. We roll a dice. It's be probably 4, or 5, or 6, depending on how the dice is rolled, how gravity falls, and how fate and destiny likes to play with us sometimes. You know,
Yeah, sure.
that's how I view it personally. That's probability mechanics for me. But in terms of like spirit walking and all that stuff, I've done like the Ouija board thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've done it before with that. It's
And
not.
how did that work out? Did you summon the incorrect spirits, or?
Let's just say the one group that was supposed to do it with me was, let's just say, claiming that some spirit knew who I was already.
Maybe it did.
Probably.
Or maybe they just knew of you, or they were associating their own memories with you.
Probably.
Just by using your first name, you know? Because
Yeah.
you were saying for security reasons too. Now I can understand where that is coming from.
Yeah, because a lot of other different groups are kind of against me, but at the same time not against me. It's like,
Do you think those groups were against you in your mind, or is it just being susceptible to?
susceptible.
Yeah.
Susceptible to
So your
corruption.
first reaction is people dislike you at the first get-go?
No, it's more like I have to assess how people are. And
Before
if
body language and
body language, eye twitching, and all that stuff. Like even just simple verbal communication could be a giveaway.
yeah.
And personally, so long as people are showing acts of trust towards me, that's a sign enough for me to say, okay, we're on the same level then.
Right on. Right
Equal footing, you know?
on. Okay. Well, thank you so much, Jason. This was a good first episode.
Yeah.
This was your host, Mike, for Friends in High Places podcast on mental health awareness.
Thanks for having me, Mike.
Thank you so much. Have a good night, guys.